This is Brian Jadon with Alchemy for Leaders in Greenville, South Carolina, and I'm speaking with my friend and colleague, Elmar Dornberger of Boulder, Colorado. How you doing, Elmar?
Hi, Brian. Good to see you.
Good to see you. I know we have an event coming up in June of this year, 2014, here in Greenville at Furman University for executives and business owners. And the theme is Unleash Your Company's Potential, and we're going to be utilizing the very powerful method, organizational constellations. And this is just an opportunity for those who may not be familiar with that method to learn a little bit more about what we're going to be doing in June at Furman. And if to start out, Elmar, maybe you could just say a little bit about, for those who are unfamiliar with this method, what is an organizational constellation, and in your experience, how have you found it so effective?
Hi, Brian. Well, thank you again, and thank you for bringing me to Greenville. I'm really looking forward to it.
Me as well.
Well, Constellations is really a three-dimensional process that started has been around for close to 30 years by now. And it started in Europe. And the way constellations are really used is to resolve issues that stay mostly hidden. They're kind of hard to resolve. And they were initially used more in family systems, but pretty soon, and at least for about 20 years, they have been used in organizations now. And the way we use them is most of the time in groups. We use other group members to represent issues that are stuck in an organizational system. They can have to do with decision making or hiring, firing, mergers, acquisitions. And what we do is we use other people to stand in for these issues and actually speak for these issues. So we can actually see the underlying dynamics that hinder us from moving forward and making useful decisions.
And I know that constellations, and particularly organizational constellations, are relatively new to the U.S. I know that it's a very popular method and tool in Europe. And I first became aware of constellations about 10 years ago, and it's probably the most powerful tool in my repertoire. And I know that you are trained in other methods as well, but you have really landed on constellations as your go-to method and tool for working with teams and organizations. Why have you gravitated to constellations? Tell me a little bit more about why you are so, committed to this particular approach.
It's really the fastest process I've come around. I've looked at many modalities, and I can sometimes resolve an issue in one session. I mean, even as complex situations as mergers and acquisitions, they can sometimes, in very few sessions, they can be resolved and can be come to conclusion that everybody's actually happy about the outcome, where otherwise it might have taken months, sometimes even years, to get to the same conclusion.
And in your experience, what is the intended result or goal of a constellation? Does it depend on the particular organization or client? Is it a particular outcome? Is it when you speak about a resolution, what kinds of outcomes are we talking about?
What I really like about this process is the process is actually done, is completed when all the parties who are part of this issue are at ease. They are happy with, or at least content with, the way the issue has been resolved. And so we actually keep working on the issue until all the parties are at ease with the solution that has come forth.
And is there a particular constellation? I know you've done many constellations in the past with a variety of challenges and issues. Is there one that stands out for you that you remember that you really saw the power and effectiveness of this particular method?
Well, one that just comes to mind, I worked with a municipality here in Colorado, and there were a lot of internal structures, issues going on, and personal issues. And so we actually used the room that we were working in as sort of a symbol for the organization. And we had all the employees were actually part of this process, and they all found their place in the organization in that space. And we worked until we actually, everything sort of came to an equilibrium. And as a result, within the following weeks, the entire organization was restructured, new leadership, and everything moved forward much more smoothly and productively.
Great. You know, I think I hinted at this when we first started chatting that, you know, part of my purpose of holding this event here at Furman in Greenville, South Carolina in June is to really introduce this community, the business community here, to this powerful method. For you, what would you like to see come out of that particular event? What any desired outcomes for you?
Well, I really love this method. This is really my method of choice. So, and my intention is to really share this with as many people as I can. So a great intention would be if we would have a room full of executives who would actually learn about this and learn ways that they could resolve issues in a much faster, much more productive way, and really create win-win situations.
Elmar, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me, and I look forward to having you in South Carolina in June and doing this program together.
Well, thank you, Brian, for talking to me today, and I'm looking forward to coming to Greenville. Have a good day.
Take care.
You too.